there's also a huge problem that the Democrats have right now, and this is just related to the fact that it's a completely corporate captured party, and they think that the solution is to put AOC front and center because she's popular. Now, popularity matters only to a certain degree. As Jen has pointed out time and again, she is completely capped in her congressional position, which is perfectly fine. I mean, let's face it, we have 30 literally generational, no pun intended, representatives all throughout this country. You have one member of the GOP in Texas right now who literally doesn't even know where she is. So, you know, at some point you realize it's kind of a nursing home type situation. But even when you think about the sort of independent media circuit and whether or not they're going to speak truth to power in a way that needs to be spoken, the Democratic Party in many ways sealed its fate when it comes to Israel Palestine. And so AOC goes on a show. Listen, I'm not going to badmouth him. I don't think Sam Seder's a bad guy.
Oh, leave Sam and Emma alone. Please.
I have no love whatsoever for Emma Vigeland. I have a very strong opinion about her, but I'll leave that aside. You cannot go on. I don't care how famous a person is. I don't care how big they are. If you are going to speak to them, you cannot pussyfoot around key issues that are going to define whether or not you are actually going to advance as a movement in any capacity. And so this is what happened the other day. I think 2 days ago when Alex decided to go on with, and of course, anytime she goes on any podcast, it is an extremely controlled environment.
Yeah.
Just lastly, because I know you got to go. But part of this dynamic of the way that young people are getting their media now, it seems to me, is that what we've seen with Gaza and what's happening with Israel is akin, in my mind, to what happened with the Vietnam War when we saw for the first time reporters were actually involved in the war. And for people who had more skin in the game, insofar as like I could get drafted or my kids could get drafted, that really changed the politics in a way that I don't think the upper echelon or the old guard, as it were, of whatever was happening at that time in this country understood. And I feel like that same dynamic is happening now. If you're under the age of 40, what's gone on in Israel is in Palestine and Gaza in particular, obviously, and the West Bank for that matter, is very different from your perception if you're over the age of 40 because of where you get your media.
I have said this directly to Democratic leadership. I've communicated this to the White House, that this is our Vietnam. This is our, not just like in terms of the party, but this is just our country's Vietnam. And what I think a lot of people do not yet understand is they think this is, that some of these hemorrhages are maybe ideological. They think maybe it is like an ethnic thing. I don't think there is appreciation yet about how generationally radicalizing this moment is, and how shocked people are at how far just like the general inertia is willing to go, as if we're not seeing what's happening right before our very eyes. I mean, we are now at the point where, where
all I can say is that she's not as bad a speaker as Kamala. That's
no, but it's close. It's close.
If I might,
please, the word salad. I can't.
AOC Pelosi.
Oh yeah.
Holder, as I said once before, of the land speed record for fastest betrayal of the people. I mean, this is a person who came in, standing for progressive, values, and then caped for Kamala as hard as she possibly could. Absolute and complete total sellout. And what does it get her? Right? Jerry Connolly still gets propped up with his, 73, 74, years. And it's perfect, right? Is that you sell out, you play along, and then you still get told to stand in line, by this corrupt, corporate organization. I mean, no credibility of any kind left for this complete and total fraud who now, stands with the corporate ring. Rhetorically, she'll occasionally still play to the progressives bought and paid for.
Yeah. And can we say, though, also ideologically, academically, cerebrally, what does this have to do with Vietnam? Now, if you wanted to equate the Zio-Nazis to the Nazis and say that's our that. But what the hell does it have to it's sort of like just some talking point. That was a word salad of gargantuan proportions. I still don't know what she has said.
She doesn't know. Here's the thing about her, which I think is crystal clear. And you saw this with Kamala as well, especially when she was ever pressed. Anytime a person hesitates and cannot articulate their point saliently, it's because they're overthinking what they're going to say because they're concerned they're going to piss off somebody.
No, it's because they're lying. When people can't speak in clear sentences, it's they're lying.
Both of these can be true. I mean, yeah. I think that a lot of times it's double speak, but then a lot of times it's also what Peter's describing. They know where the landmines are.
Where's the line?
They know if I say this donor is out. If I say this donor is out. And so literally, so you can see them kind of mentally trying to tiptoe between these different landmines where their donors sit. And and AOC Pelosi, like $15 million just in political donations just in the last year, for just her PAC. So she's got a lot on the line. She's got Met Galas to attend, and she needs to make sure that she stays on the right side of the money in the party. And it's an impossible dance to do. You cannot keep staying on the right side of the money in the party and still also pretending to stand with the people. You can't do it. There's no way of playing Twister like that. There's too much tape running. There's too much video. Everybody can run this quote against what you said previously and see that you sold out, so fast it made people's heads spin.
And I love that we call her AOC Pelosi. It's great. I mean, she really is. It's disappointing, but the truth is, she's just really not that bright. And I'm just like, I don't want to say it to be mean, but it's like, she's just really not that bright. Like I've never heard her really say anything that was too insightful.
This is something that Jen and I both communicated on directly when we met with Ilhan the first time. And I said, this is the type of person. Bright. She is extremely bright. And she's also one of the most effective legislators in the entire Congress, whereas AOC is one of the worst. She is at the very bottom. She's like the bottom 10 out of 435.
Of effectively getting any legislation through.
Ilhan at a time or two was like number 4. Like that to me says it all. And this is a woman who wears a freaking hijab. You want to talk about walking in the halls of Congress and literally having every Zio-Nazi with their daggers out for you every day, and yet you still manage to be that effective? The biggest problem with Alex is that she is very enamored with the life. It is very intoxicating. I guarantee you she's honestly, she's like a mafia boss in the sense that every restaurant, the top places in DC, the top places in Queens, the top places in New York City, come on in, table's ready for you. Let people know that you showed up here. And listen, I don't doubt that she cares. I think she does. I think her heart is a bleeding heart. I think that she wants to help people, but she wants to help people on her terms. That does not affect her career trajectory. If in any way it does, it's just not going to happen. And you know what? Especially in this moment, you are a colossal failure of the highest order for not recognizing or trusting your platform, because she's got a big one.
She's a tool. She's a tool.
Yes, at this point, she's a tool. And we're going to finish this clip out because even the bigger tool is the fact that Sam and Emma will not push back on her for not.
Or they won't get her back on their show.
Fuck it. Who cares?
Well,
Make a point.
I'm just saying, it's like that's how people get interviews, is they play games.
I exist. Me calling this a genocide, going to the House floor, delivering a speech saying that the administration is aiding and abetting this is so far beyond the fringe, so far beyond the pale. This is also part of what this dynamic was in this vote too. It came up like, let's just to call a spade. That was also an element in this fight. But I think that it is important that we lay these markers down again generationally, because people
I'm going to
see
copyright
what is
that.
happening.
She wants to say,
What did she say?
she wants, and this person wants to be
cannot.
the ranking member of the oversight
I don't
committee.
understand what markers are we laying down generationally? I'm
About being aware of that Gaza is a genocide, but yet didn't she ultimately vote for the money? See, this is the thing for me.
Listen, you can't.
When you vote for the money, I don't care what you say. Like it doesn't matter.
I made a social media post to try to keep this simple for people, is that you can't oppose a genocide and support the genocider. That's not how it works.